There's one thing here that unites us today, and those are challenges. We all face them. We face them yearly, monthly, weekly, or even daily. But when I was a student in Tokyo, Japan, I was taught 4 words. Nana korabi ya oki. Translated directly, it means if you fall down 7 times, you need to get back up 8. And I do believe that that is exactly the mentality we have in the room here today. Because in the room, we have individuals and speakers who stand up to challenges every single day. They innovate, they solve, and they create. So today is a chance to meet these individuals, to meet their projects, to find investments, and of course, to do some business. Dear participants, welcome to the SDBP Investor Conference 2023. We have quite a packed program today, with, of course, beginning with keynote speeches, 4 different fields of investment opportunities, and most importantly, a lot of networking. So let's get started so that we will have more time to connect afterwards. First up, while it seems obvious to some that we reside in a country of Slovenia, we do have an international audience following us online, and we do have also international investors watching. So who better to explain why our lovely Slovenia is a quality location for investments than the State Secretary, Ministry of the Economy, Tourism and Sport of Slovenia, Mr. Mateusz Frangiš.
It's a great couch, I have to say, so it was hard to stand up. Welcome, dear investors. Yes, Slovenia has some pretty unique features that needs to be explored in order to make the proper decisions. As you know, we have a great geostrategic location. We are a gateway to Central and Eastern Europe and also a gateway to elsewhere in the world for Central European businesses. We are quite unique because we are the only country in the world that has the word love in its name. And this shows also in our attitude toward our country, toward our nature, toward the creativity, work, dedication, and ambition we put in our work. Now, we already entered the biggest changes of global economy in human history. Slovenia wants to be among the winners of these transformative times. That's why at Ministry of Economy, Tourism and Sport, we are putting forward now the action plan for economic transformation of our economy. To envision to become the new European hub for innovation of green advanced technologies. We would like to do that by building on 3 pillars. First, to upgrade and decarbonize our existing industries. As you may know, Slovenia is among most industrialized countries within European Union. However, as a very competent and reliable supplier of different goods, especially materials, we are also one of the most energy intensive industries and countries in Europe. So we have to lower those energy dependencies by strong commitment to decarbonization of our industries and upgrade the position of those industries in the global, especially European value chains. Second, we have a dynamic startup ecosystem, several helixes that were made by research institutions, top-notch research institutions like Institute Josef Stefan, for example, with 250 PhDs working solely on artificial intelligence, among other fields of modern physics. But there are also other institutes. It's that work hand in hand with companies and industries to develop new solutions for these transformative times. We see ecosystems of small entrepreneurs, founders that already gain attention of global investors with a variety of companies playing in different industrial niches, from biotech to food tech to clean tech and green tech, fintech and all the techs you can imagine. We believe that those industries can develop new products for global market, hopefully end products with Slovene brands that will be the result of Slovenian knowledge, innovation and design. And the third one, Slovenia is eager to attract more global innovation and research operation of global high-tech companies in order to open investment opportunities for those startups, to enable new connections, new possibilities for our companies, and of course to bring a part of this Slovenian innovation, great engineering mind that also loves to live. That's why, by the way, we are a wine and culinary superpower of the world. To cooperate in this great quest of making more sustainable and green future. With that in mind, we believe that with our good position, educated, motivated, and very internationalized workforce, great talents we can offer to the global challenges, with high quality of living, with low criminal rates, high safety of the society, strong educational system that is very inclusive. Those are the pillars we believe we need to succeed and be among the winners of these great times. I'm especially thankful that we have now here the Dutch investors. Netherlands is of course one of the great models for those transition. We are very enthusiastic about some solutions in different fields of sustainability that enables us that we work together in the future for future projects, and I'm very thankful to Ticho that he and his team work intensively in making connections and bringing two European economies with very similar values and the same attitude towards nature and our natural resources to life. So thank you and welcome to Slovenia.
Thank you very much, Mr. Frangac, for your speech. I do believe we have quite a clear picture on which country we reside in now. But let's add another view to the topic of investing in Slovenia, and that is the view of financial institutions, namely banks. I invite Ms. Natalia Stošicki, the Director of Investments and EU Programs at the Slovenian Export and Development Bank.
Thank you. Hello everybody, I'm very glad and thank you for the opportunity to represent ourselves to you, your investors and the other audience. I will just make, I have a very short presentation because I don't want to be long, but maybe this is not working. No? Where should I point this? No? Can you help me? Okay. Just shortly about the SID Bank. SID Bank is a national promotional bank, and we are a part of the European network of national development banks in whole Europe. So we are connected with other national development banks in Europe through the different associations, European associations. We are also the sixth, the biggest shareholder, financial shareholder of the EIF, European Investment Fund. So we're very involved in the shaping the European policy, also in respect of shaping the programs, budgeting of the measures, especially also in the window of the, let's say, sustainable financing and sustainable finance, but also in other windows, SME financing, research innovation, digitalization, and other windows. So in the first slide, it's just seed bank in numbers. So we have a total balance sheet about 2 billion euros. We had 220 employees. Basically, average new loans that we grant directly in Slovenia is around 440 million euros. So in respect of the national Slovenian role, we have impact on the GDP around 2%. So basically, our development role is quite important for the development of Slovenian economy, and this is basically our primary goal. And we have shaped different products, also where private investors could be engaged. I will show you if that would be a possibility. In sustainable finance, basically as a bank, we had to go to the green transition as a bank. So we have EBA guidance for that. And we have to shape ourselves in this respect, also our loan portfolios, but also our policies. So pricing policies for loans, for direct loans, basically 82% of our loans are given directly to the companies. So we have very direct touch, or we are really on the market with both legs. Basically, we know the companies that we have in our portfolios, and that's the best way to see what is going on, what is changing, what kind of different models is going on in the companies, what the companies are shaping into. So yeah, we keep in touch so that the green transition of the companies will be supported, so that digital transition of the companies is supported, so that there will be a move toward better competition possibilities for Slovene companies, also internationally. As you know, most of our Slovene companies are exporters, basically, because we are a small economy, and that's why the international markets are important for our companies to grow. So if you just go to the next slide, please. We looked at, since the topic is basically green transition and sustainable financing, basically we looked at the survey that the Deloitte took in Slovenia in 2022, where they interviewed a lot of Slovenian companies in respect of defining what would be their investment areas of their investments, basically, in the, let's say, green field. So, as you see, most of them are looking for investing into energy efficiency projects, carbon emission reductions, because there are quite fast you can get the benefits out of it, not only the cost, but also the benefits out of it. Then it's the circular economy, and the next is production of energy from renewable sources. But what was negative was basically that a lot of companies, quite 48% of them, are only planned to invest in green transition, which was worrying for us, basically. And we learned that there's no other picture in other European countries. If you look at the statistics, you will see that 45% of the municipalities in Europe are saying that they will not enter into the green projects because they don't have a staff, they don't have a knowledge to prepare the projects. So the problem is there. And we have to be there for a few things. So this is our role, basically: education, providing very favorable financing, that it will stipulate the investments, and basically taking a risk of the investments. So our role as a financial institution is to take more risk because we are a national promotional bank that ordinary investor would do. And we have several risk-sharing instruments to do that. So the other thing, what was interesting was from the Deloitte study survey was that all the companies said, basically 69% of them, that they will use financial instruments more if they will be blended with grants. So it's very clear that blending it would promote basically the further projects and investments. So this is very clear why, because with the blending with grants, you could push up the yields on the projects, and also taking less of the lowering the risk. So it is very clear what our institution had to do, basically offer favorable financing conditions. That means lower interest rates for loans. That means taking part of the risk. That means having, let's say, with more risk, it means also longer tenors of the loans, because the projects are longer term, in particular for public infrastructure, and also longer grace periods with less requirement for the collaterals. So if you could move to next slide, please. Yeah, this is the product that we have, basically Seed Green. Seed Green is a new product now that we have, and it's 60 million direct loans. We are using to cover our risk InvestEU guarantees. It's 70% coverage of the risk. And we're financing basically all what is tend to be green. So either the company is green or the project itself is green. And we use the EIF eligibility checker. If you're an investor, you could use that as well. It's very interesting. So just to check which investment is eligible on the European, let's say, view as a green, so that it's eligible. And that would mean less risk in financing, in investing into it, because it will be less posed to less subject to further future restrictions in financing or in insurance of the project or other issues that goes with the more brown investments. You have here the website. I put it on here. I think you will find it useful because it's for each type of the project that investor will consider. You could check whether it could be eligible on the European level as a green or not. So this is the program that we have. Basically, I would not go deeper into that. So if you're interested to do something in more detail, you could contact me or ask me afterwards. If you go to the next slide, I think it's the, yeah. So then we have an equity product. CGIP platform is a platform that we set it up in 2018 together with European Investment Fund. At the beginning, it was 100 million. Now it's 220 million. We top it up for another 100 million last year. Why? Because the first CGIP platform was very successful. First one was for investing into Slovenian companies that were, in the phase of the growth, alongside with private investors via the private equity funds. And we signed a strategic partnership with EIF, and we and EIF are in the position as an investors alongside with private investors into such a fund. And the fund managers are, let's say, before they started to manage those funds, went through very strict due diligence of EIF, so that they are on the European level, basically eligible as professionals to invest into such funds, to manage such funds. They put also their own money into it, so that they align the interest with private investors. And we set it up. Yeah, sure. So basically, the fund itself, the funds or the platform itself has integrated ESG criteria according to the EIF ECG principles. And after that, on the top of that, we had 3 new products where now there is data room open for private investors. One is the CETT platform, around 40 million together with Croatian Development Bank and EIF, which will finance basically, which will invest in venture capital fund, which is TT fund, that will cover, as you can see, also green tech, but also advanced materials, information technologies, etc., in the stages where there's basically still on the level of on the universities and research institutions level of developing for the proof of concept to go to commercialization to the economy. And the next two are also the funds. One is the VC fund, 14 million will be dedicated and invested by the EIF and SID Banka. Data room will be open now for investors soon. And this will be focused on basically in Slovenia mostly, but also, but mainly in it will be a generalistic fund, but will invest in deep and digital and clean tech technologies. You know that Slovenia is very rich in biotechnology, medical, biomedicine, so this is a really a good opportunity for investors to invest. And the last one, and the last one is succession for family businesses. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Stoshitsky. I apologize for the technical difficulties. I believe that the clicker is not working properly, so for all the speakers, please just ask our technical team for the next slide when you are ready. Now, we have had the views of financial institutions, and institutions, as we all know, are extremely important because if they're working in ideal, proper manner, they're the stabilizing force in an economy. They provide the necessary trust and the necessary safety, so to say the skeleton or the framework in order for the business to thrive. A clear example of this framework in action comes from Ms. Karin Žvokel, the director of the Slovenian Intellectual Property Office.
Dear participants, greetings also from the Slovenian Intellectual Property Office. I would like to say a few words about the importance of intellectual property rights, such as trademarks, designs, patents, and copyright. Businesses that protect their intellectual property grow faster and are more resilient. A recent study shows that such companies kept
Apart from the institutions such as banks, we also have organizations. And these organizations are usually incredibly important because they do extremely good work. They do their very best in order to enhance business. One such organization is headed in the very building that we are residing in right now, the Slovene Business Club. Therefore, I would like to invite the president of the Slovene Business Club, Mr. Pečečnik.
Good afternoon to everyone. I will be very short because I don't want to cool down your passion about investing in Slovenia. So, Mr. Ticho, thank you to organizing this event. Okay, your tie is very Dutch. So, Mr. Frangesh and Ms. from SIT, welcome to Slovenian Business Club. This is our home. Anytime you will have some request in Slovenia, maybe you will need to open legally some doors. We are here to serve, so please use us also in the future. And I wish all of you that you will find the investment in Slovenia you expected, and that we will have more such events in the future. Slovenian Business Club is a crown organization. We are associating 500 the best companies in Slovenia. They are all private owned, and we have a special rules for participation in this association. And Mr. Ticho is also our ambassador in Holland. I just want to say again thank you, and I need to tell you that about Holland I have a special love or feelings about this country because it was my first country that I was able to export my products, and I have a great and success story in Holland because we were exporting together with SIT almost a Holland casino and all arcades. It's more than 150 arcades, and we did more than 100 million revenues together with SIT. So welcome to club, and I hope you will enjoy your time, and thank you.
Thank you very much for your warm welcome. and also, of course, for allowing us to have this great event over here in SBC. Now let's try if...
Dear participants, greetings also from the Slovenian Intellectual Property Office. I would like to say a few words about the importance of intellectual property rights, such as trademarks, designs, patents, and copyright. Businesses that protect their intellectual property grow faster and are more resilient. A recent study shows that such companies have 20% higher revenue and paid 90% higher wages than companies without IP rights. IP rights are also valuable intangible assets in the company that can often exceed the value of the company's tangible ones. IP rights can be a source of revenue through licensing, franchising, sale, or transfer. IP assets are also increasingly used to support loans. I am glad to say that recently the field of intellectual property is developing rapidly in Slovenia. The first national strategy is being prepared, and I believe that this strategic document will raise awareness and bring the value of IP rights to the forefront. At the Slovenian Intellectual Property Office, we strive to be a good partner to Slovenian companies and creators. Companies can always turn to our office's info point for all IP rights questions. We also provide the IP First Information Service, a review of the company's IP situation carried out by our experts completely free of charge. At the office, we are also very active in the international arena through numerous collaborations, agreements, and projects which benefit Slovenian companies. I am proud to say that in September we hosted the General Director of the World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO. We met with Slovenian political leaders and stakeholders from the innovation, research, and business sector. We are further strengthening cooperation with WIPO in different areas. We are working on the adaptation of an IP guide for startups tailored to the Slovenian market and legislation. To help companies and individuals identify their IP assets and make recommendations on how to protect them, we are also preparing to adopt a free online IP diagnostic tool. IP rights can play an important role in accelerating green transition. Our office will join efforts with WIPO to promote green technology innovations. WIPO Green, for example, can offer many opportunities, and I would encourage Slovenian companies from the green tech field to check it out and join the platform. To conclude, I warmly invite you to follow our office's website, news and social media to find out more and keep up to date with all our activities and upcoming exciting projects. I wish you a pleasant and fruitful day.
We said another government institutions, but how does it look like this institution, the representation of the government in a foreign country? Of course, I'm talking about embassies. Sadly, in the name of SDBP, I would like to apologize for the absence of His Excellency, the Ambassador of the Kingdom of the Netherlands to the Republic of Slovenia, Mr. Johan Ofabom. However, we do have another ambassador on hand. He is the recipient of the Golden Cross of the Kingdom of the Netherlands for International Relations, our very own SDBP Ambassador, Ticho Zupancic.
Thank you very much. Grandpa needs some support, of course. Yes, the word of the ambassador. Hello, everybody. Unfortunately, we are missing the very important one. His Excellency Johan Verbom, the ambassador of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. He would like to speak his admiration of Slovenian invention and creativity, at the same time knowing what we are lacking here and how the Netherlands can contribute to close those gaps. Slovenia is the country of brilliant inventors, technically extremely high-skilled. Sometimes it looks as if this is everything that has brought us from living in the trees to where we are now, starting in this 2,000 square kilometers big country on the sunny side of the Alps. The only country with love, as was stated by State Secretary Mateusz, which is on the crossroads of the Slavic, Germanic, Finno-Ugrian, and Romanic energy. To mention just few inventions, the first pocket calculator, the well-being champion Peter Florian's perfume atomizer, plastic ice skater, famous depositive frames, plastic zippers, airbags, and go on. Airbags, bringing us to mobility. Johan Puch, the inventor of 21 different types of automobiles, motorcycles, trucks, military vehicles, ambulances, and bicycles at the dawn of the automotive area. The revolutionary Akrapovic exhaust systems, from the iron versions to top of the line carbon fiber and titanium. And then Elave, visible on the stage today, the world leader on in-wheel and near-wheel electrical motors and cars. Ivo Pescarolo of Pipistrel is an ultralight aircraft winning NASA awards and now ready for hydrogen planes and autonomous flying. From mobility to space, Herman Potočnik published a treatise of how humans could survive in space in the long term, conceptualizing space stations 100 years ago. And back from space and back in time, the start of the mobility is the Ljubljana Martius wheel, the first wheel, more than 5,000 years ago. No mobility without Slovenes. Even the carving skis are invented here. Looking at all these inventions, it is hard not to whistle in amazement. But even of that knows, whistling reminds me to music, to a certain flute. The first one, the first instrument in the world, more than 50,000 years ago, was found in Divje Babe in Slovenia. Not Babe, Divje Babe. I will not translate this. The Netherlands, on the other side, is the country with a brilliant approach to breakthrough global market successes. We are lucky. We are Slovene-Dutch business platform. We know how to connect these two. Today, here at Slovenian Business Club, yes, I am the ambassador of SDBP. I'm representing our president, Marko Sladojevic, the great Dutch-speaking lawyer in Slovenia. You better know that. I'm also proud ambassador of Slovenian Business Club. So here in the home of Slovenian business champions, those who already found their way towards the top, we are presenting those who are striving to do the same. What do we need for global success in innovation? Great idea, an invention, the winning approach, and an investor, the right investor. What do we need to be a successful investor? The ability to find the right talent and the right approach. Of course, that includes investing in sustainable solutions of tomorrow. We at SDBP are glad to make this possible for you, connecting the right dots and providing you the opportunity to invest in the champions of tomorrow. Why invest in sustainable solutions? Well, does it make sense to invest in the past? Happy with the development of the stock markets at the moment? So invest in solutions for tomorrow. Solutions for the sake of Mother Earth? No, don't worry. The planet. It's about the survival of mankind. It makes me happy that Madam Director of Intellectual Property Office explained you the importance of intellectual property. It was Karin who organized the visit of Mr. Darren Tang, Director General of World Intellectual Property Organization in Slovenia 4 weeks ago. It was great talking to him. At the presentation of Slovenian toppers he was admiring. One on ones we will see today, Aerosale. We didn't record our talks, but he allowed us to use his inspiring talk from the United Nations to greet our audience today.
Vicious floods, record-breaking heat waves, devastating wildfires. Not a day passes without some news of the latest climate catastrophe from somewhere in the world. But in the spirit of today's summit, we must not let these news overwhelm us with despair, but inspire us to action. Morning, I'm the Director General of WIPO, the World Intellectual Property Organization, the UN Agency for Intellectual Property. At WIPO, we believe that to get the SDGs back on track and to solve our common global challenges, we need to unleash and harness the power of innovation and creativity from around the world. And we believe that bold statements like this needs to be backed up with strong action. As a UN agency for IP, we gather and analyze IP data from all over the world. And this gives us a deep insight into research and technology trends globally. And what we find is that because of the growing awareness of climate change, there has been a strong growth in climate change-related technologies and research in the past few years. At the same time, demand for such technologies is also exploding. But there's been a problem. Those offering these technologies is not talking to those who need the technologies. Supply and demand is growing, but out of sync. And that's why WIPO created WIPO Green, a free online digital platform, which is a tech matching platform to bring those who offer these technologies with those who need the technologies so that they can talk to each other and form partnerships. WIPO Green has grown to become what we believe to be the UN family's largest tech matching platform for climate technologies, offering 130,000 technologies from 140 countries with 1,000 matches already in the bag. But this is not enough. It's just a drop in the ocean. We want to bring more eyeballs to this technology. And so last year at COP27, we launched the WIPO Green Technology Book, where we gathered all the different technologies in WIPO Green around the theme of climate adaptation, and we published that. And we're very pleased that in the last 1 year, we've seen 800,000 views and close to 20,000 downloads of WIPO Green's technology book. And this year at COP28, we'll launch a new theme, a second edition, along the lines of climate mitigation technologies. But matches must lead to marriages. The engagements that we engender through WIPO Green platform must lead to partnerships that deploy these technologies on the ground for impact. And so we also created a new project called the WIPO Green Acceleration Projects. And these projects, we are working with people and partners on the ground to support the deployment of technologies in a concrete way. The WIPO Green Acceleration Projects have helped the palm oil mills in Indonesia to cut their methane emissions. It's helped cherry growers in Chile to address extreme weather events to protect their crops. And we're helping Chinese industry to reduce their carbon footprint. And we are very pleased that the SDG Digital Summit has recognized WIPO Green as one of the award-winning technologies. And with this encouragement and recognition, we hope to work with more partners, and we invite you to join us in this journey to harness the power of digital to accelerate innovation for the good of the world. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, it is said that we're entering a new geological age, a new epoch called the Anthropocene, where human activity is changing the face of the planet. Let us work together to make sure that the Anthropocene doesn't end up like the Jurassic, in death, destruction, and extinction, but instead becomes an age where we use digitally accelerated technologies and innovation to build a better, fairer, and more sustainable world. Thank you very much.
First of all, I would like to thank the WIPO Director General Darren Tang for allowing us to use this footage today. I believe it is the perfect scene setter. Today, we look at the news and it's not a week goes by where there's another natural catastrophe happening somewhere around the planet. Of course, in our own country of Slovenia, we felt the floodings that washed away a third. I personally watched a bridge, an industrial bridge to a factory being torn down. Then I saw how in the Nordics they got hit, how just coming out of winter in Brazil, they were hit with a heat wave of 35 degrees plus. Now we observe how it's happening in Scotland. So I believe that it is incredibly pertinent because I mentioned that today in the room we have problem solvers, entrepreneurs and investors. So with this, I would like to open the first set of presentations of investment opportunities. The solutions are focused on the green energy transition. And with this, I would like to first call up Mr. Aleš Bratkovič from Recupera.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, very happy to see you all being interested, coming today, and hoping we can do something more. Not only for this planet, but also for our pockets, right? And not only for our pockets, but for our children, for the future generations to come. Actually, I like this quote: if your actions do not live up to your words, you do have nothing to say. So let's do some actions, concrete, not just talking, not just we would like, but we do it. I would just like to say that every one of you can be, could be, should be our client. What I will promote now very shortly. I will not be long, just pay attention. So the biggest world companies just recently announced to the governments, please decrease step by step and cancel out fossil use of fossil fuels up to 2040. This is 15 years more to go. And the second here, European Commission is saying triple, 10 times more renewables, and so on and so on. So the time is right, and we are ready, and we have ability to do it. So let's do. Please, first slide, next slide. So we in Recupera team, we are involved in renewables for 30 years. And back then, 20 years ago, when I was promoting renewables, doing the first wind power plants, solar power plants, geothermal power plants, biomass cogeneration. At that time, what you are doing, this is nonsense. You know, fossil fuels are so cheap. Those were the times at which we did over 300 projects executed in Slovenia, in Croatia, mostly on wood biomass and so on. Yeah? But now the times are really good and increased in the direction that we must do more, we can do more. And as you know, we have solar energy, right? Everyone knows. We have wind energy in Slovenia as well, will be soon. But what is the problem with these two energies? Today, how much photovoltaic is working? Outside is a bit cloudy, not so much, right? So basically, the quality of this electricity, it's not so high. That's why we need to optimize the system, and we need to combine either the storage or we need to use some other renewable source, which is wood biomass or wastes. This is why we developed this direction technologies, which shortly I would like to present. Please, the next slide. Actually, we developed with our partners large size wood biomass boilers who can use completely wet, used bark, sawdust, so-called waste wood chips, wood biomass. Yeah, this is actually a technology you cannot buy here around. But we always combine this technology with electricity. So whenever someone says to me, Aleš, please get me rid of fossil fuels. Yeah, just recently I had a meeting with one huge company, and they have a lot of natural gas they use. And I said, no problem. We can go completely zero with CO2 emission. We go green completely. And what is best, you save the money. And what we calculated was €500,000 savings per year using green technology, which I'm showing you today here. Please, next slide. Here is the second technology. This is small size electricity production unit based on wood chips. Container version, 6.2 meters. You go with wood chips, you get 50 kilowatt electricity and 80 kilowatt heat. So basically means any company, small size, big size, tourist resource, hotel, instead of just having solar electricity, we can install small size containers and you have electricity 100% produced from your local source, renewable, CO2 zero emission, and with very, very low costs. Yeah? Meaning, you save 70% of nowadays costs for electricity. 70. So give us a chance, a try, so we calculate for you, your balance. Next. Actually, our most favorable technology, which we are developing already now for a few years, is actually waste. And plastic, as you know it, is most caloric waste possible, containing hydrogen and carbon. So our project is, let's use plastic to produce hydrogen. In our location, yeah, we are actually doing hydrogen production from wood, from waste, from plastic waste. We can also use other wastes separately, but then we get basically a little bit less hydrogen because there is the most quantity in plastic. Next slide. How does this work? Actually, we are gasifying in closed loop these small particles of plastic waste in the closed circle, producing CO and hydrogen as the main two syngases, right? Next slide. This is our first plant in testing phase here in Maribor in Slovenia, yeah. It's a little bit high towers, but actually this is what is important, that we gasify with proper parameters all the time online. Next slide. So my last slide is, what is it here for investors? Actually, you can join us in 3 different ways. As a client, so we save your costs of electricity and heat and make you completely green, yeah. Secondly, you can join us as an investor, participating in profit sharing in the projects, yeah. So there is a rate of return from 15 to 25%, yeah, per average project, small project. And actually, there is a third way you can be our promoter, yeah, a promoter of good practice and technologies available here in Slovenia. So please, just try us, talk to us, speak to us, what we can do together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bratkovic. I believe that as far as investment opportunities, that is as concrete as it gets, but this is just the beginning. Next up, we have Robotina, whose motto is optimization, efficiency, and everything in between. They provide their parents in these spaces of smart spaces, smart energy, and smart industry with equipment, modern technology, education, and all the support they require. They will present their approach called ECOS. Welcome, Mr. David Palčić.
Wow, I have a microphone. Okay, so this thing doesn't work, huh? It works, okay? Yes or no? Shall we try? Anyhow, thank you for inviting us, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk to you. You know, inside Robotina, we have developed so many things in the last 30 years that we have sometimes a problem to leave some of our kids to leave the house. But today I'd like to introduce you just one of the kids who is ready to leave the house and to go to the next steps. And you know, okay. So when we talk about electricity, about energy, about green transition, first of all, which electricity contributes most to the green transition? Which one? From which source? No, the one that we save, the one that we don't throw away. And that's the most important things you have to remember. Now, but let's go just quickly through things. First, let me start with the facts. What are the electricity cost drivers? People were talking about generation. Yes, it is. It is a cost driver. But it only accounts for 50%, as we will see later. And the other cost drivers we just see down, but first of all, you see on the left chart, we have the electricity consumption growth in the last years. And on the right side, we have the electricity cost growth in the last years. So if you multiply the things together, you have a huge, huge increase that impacts every business, that impacts everyone in every place, not only Netherlands, not only Slovenia, not only anywhere. But which are the other cost drivers? First, somebody was talking renewables. Yes, they are very, very nice, very important, but they also drive up the cost of electricity. Solar creates peaks. Second, e-mobility. Fantastic things. We all want to go into the e-mobility, and I see Maurizio with e-mobility coming later. But this also drives up costs. And the third one, I just took from the Netherlands. It's a grid congestion. This is an article from the PV magazine about grid congestion in the Netherlands. So all these things drive the cost of electricity. But if I look it from behind the meter, I don't care. Because from behind the meter, I care only about my expenses for electricity. And what do I pay? I pay energy. Am I right? I pay power. So the energy which is available at a certain moment to me. I pay transportation of the energy through the wires. I pay sustainability at the end of the day. And so this is this pie, you know, energy cost, generation cost, it's only 50% of the total energy cost. The remaining 15% comes from the cost of power, so flexibility cost. So, and I have to pay you. When you see your bill, you will see this on the bill, and you will pay it as a company and as an individual. Time matters. This is a big change. 20 years back, to the users, the tariff system was very simple. 2, 3 tariffs, maybe some peak cost, but now it's not like that. Now you can go in the market and you buy electricity every hour. Or you will have very, very different costs, which brings up the complexity of your electricity issue. And that's exactly what we do. We bring your complexity down. But let's go to the next slide, Rock, if you can. Can I? Okay. Now, typical behind the meter situation is like this. You have grid, you have meter, you have your factories, you have your businesses, you have your mobility devices. Now, when people were faced, or when businesses were faced with high cost in the past, what we did, mostly this. Number one, if you go around Slovenia, you will see photovoltaics being constructed everywhere. Number two, people talk about batteries, but they don't know why they talk about batteries. Number three, they do some various energy efficiency projects, which is nice. But look at the cost drivers behind the meter. So, did we address all the opportunities we have? No, we didn't, because with PV, we just address the energy part. With battery, we can address the power part. Maybe with some demand modeling on the other side, we can address also the power part. But this is not all what we have here. If we want to go to all what we have here, we have to do this. So, we have to address, is also the pointer working? Yeah. So we have to address each and every possible source of savings or of reduced expenses, meaning that we have to work on the sources, and just somebody talking before me was talking about an alternative source of energy. We can we can go to the consumers by modeling the demand. By modeling the demand, you take the energy when it's cheaper, which makes a lot of sense many times. And we can do some local production, maybe with PV, and we can do some cost optimized storage, but focus on the cost of energy, not focused on the just other things. Now, let me show you a real typical case. So this is a project in the northeast of Slovenia. They consumed about, I mean, their cost for electricity was about 60,000 euro per year, plus peak expenses about 8,000. And by doing these things, they came down to these numbers. 11,000 per year electricity and 4,000 peaks. Of course, they produce their own electricity by solar. Just don't forget this. But also, as I will show you later, the solar is not the one that contributes most. Maybe the ROI is better on some other things. So, first, we can see the things, and this view, it's from the client's viewpoint. So from his viewpoint, he paid our margin, he paid everything, and still his ROI is 5 years, and looking at the at the life cycle of this equipment, he will get at least 4 times the investment back in the next 20 years, which is not too bad if you look at the infrastructure as an investment. So I will skip this. Let's see our business model in this area, because I'm saying this is the kit that will go out from our home, and that's why we also open it to the other investors to join us and to work together. Okay? So you see the little table shows from top down, bottom up, all the roles in this vertical of energy, electrical energy supply and business. Okay? And then we put the volume, so how big the business can be. We put the margin, so 1 means lowest margin, 5 means highest margin, and we put the scalability, because you know in this kind of businesses it's very easy and nice to make a fantastic solution, but it's not easy and nice to make a scalable solution, because it has to be simple, it has to work in every case if you make it. And we did this calculation, and you see this is the relatively simple multiplication between these factors, which is showing us in which areas we include in our portfolio, because they generate most of the immediate return. So we created 2 phases, the red phase, which is the number 1, and the green phase, which is number 2. And we left out some of the things that we are not interested in. And some of the things we are not interested in is PV, photovoltaics. Even if because the margins are not really good enough if you want to do the scalable product. Now, what we are going to do, just to tell you something about timelines and milestones. First, we will create an SPV, and we will spin out this business from our company, and this we will do by the end of this year. Then in the next quarter we will hopefully either with our partner or from us only, we will invest about 9 million to go to the first phase. First phase means that we will be mostly, but not only, focused on the capex investment from our client. So client buys equipment, and then he has digital services and some lifetime optimization system that will keep this business profitable for him. But we will blend these things with our capex. In the phase 2, which is to come in about a year and a half or earlier, we will move the model in our capex. So we will enable the clients to just be OPEX only based business. So, and we will be adding the green phases, which means that we will start using the infrastructure for trading on the market and for other things. And phase 3, which is coming later, is expanding this a bit globally, where we will just focus on know-how and create with partnerships, bring this to the other places, because know-how is, if I go back, you know, here, the know-how is in 3 layers. So here you have this cloud optimization, artificial intelligence, and so on, and you have a local on-premises controllers that do this optimization. So, product is ready, market is more than ready. Let's talk. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Palcic. I don't think we need a long transition. We just saw how to optimize energy costs. Now, what about the energy sources themselves? How about hydrogen? Please welcome Mr. Alexander Gerberts from Ecobis.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a big pleasure to be here today with you. I would like to say that the products and technologies, what I saw from David and Aleš, are the things that shall be already bought, that shall be already deployed, and deployment is something that we are working on. How to accelerate hydrogen economy with already available technologies that European society will get a fully integrated hydrogen ecosystem. And the approach we did with North Adriatic Hydrogen Valley is an example how hydrogen ecosystem shall be developed. So we've been working since a few years, and this picture of happy people are marking the momentum when Hydrogen Valley got support from 3 countries, not Italy, Slovenia and Croatia, which was unlocking investment into 17 projects over 200 millions. It was a very important milestone because on our learning curve we have identified very interesting opportunity. With hydrogen is one of the key challenges offtake, and offtake it's very difficult to make it successful without industry. But once this is happening, then cities can get big benefits, and as a next wave of North Adriatic Hydrogen Valley, it's now happening a new project, Zero Emission Mobility Corridor North Adriatic, where we are aiming to create a consortia of about 30 to 40 cities in this region. And based on one proven approach we developed a few years ago, we started with Salonit, a small incubation process where we have been working on developing business model. And this then we are now trying to scale up in the region of North Adriatic. Of course, this is the approach that cities can get accelerated decarbonization strategies, and industry can have a predictable price of renewable energy. We call this technology cluster like a hydrogen cluster, which comprises of different technologies subject to the business case, to the specifics on the specific location. And on this line, it's marked 2025, where we expect to have a first financial FID for the very first project, which is city of Vinkovci, which is the first city who joined the project. With this capacity, we expect that within this 2030, there will be approximately 200 megawatts of electrolyzers to be deployed, and about 30,000 tons of hydrogen to enable boosting local hydrogen ecosystem. And what we are working now together is international partnership together also with the Dutch company Resilient Hydrogen, Tatida from Croatia, and Cubas. So what we would like to offer is if there is any city to join this partnership, to follow the roadmap for deployment plan and creating first hub in their place. Industry will get opportunity to have affordable clean hydrogen for their decarbonization process. And when this development enables very interesting returns, so we are looking for early stage investors to support this development process. And once FID is reached, then approximately 20% of equity will be required. So very first project will be approximately 25 by then. So I'm here and I'm happy to talk if anybody would be interested to join this consortium. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank all 3 companies, Recupera, Robotina, and Ecubes, for their presentations. So now we have sort of covered the energy side. Now it's time that we look at the sustainability aspects of some housing. We're closing the set on the green energy transition and moving to set number 2, which is sustainable construction. The first of the 3 is Klimatopolis Smart Cities, building a sustainable future with innovative ideas, Yuri Menich.
Hi. Thank you all for coming. It's a great pleasure to be in front of such a nice crowd, and I hope you'll like what I'll be presenting. Oh, thank you, perfect. In the short time that I have today, the 7 minutes that I was told to, not more, not a minute more, I'll try to present what Klimatopolis is, who we are, what we strive for. I will then quickly present our 2 projects that we are currently having in the south of France and in the region of Tuscany. And then I will conclude with basically the main part of our presentation, which is the vertical farming, its implementation and its benefits. I will start with a story about 2 farmers, let's call them Frank and John, who one day they woke up and they realized that on their big farm they don't have any more place to stock their animals. So what they realized is that if they stack their livestock like this, they will have more space for their other purposes. They also then tried to find a way to do this with fruits and vegetables. So we will later come back to see if they succeeded. Klimatopolis. I will now present to you shortly our company. We are somehow a unique concept who combines real estate, technological, information and innovative services with high added values. Our goal is to, let's say, to build ecological smart cities by reducing climate change impact. Our mission is to raise awareness, educate, propose information and solutions for current and future generations, because they will be the ones that will be fighting our fight today against climate change. And all this we try to do with being as sustainable and as environmentally respectful as possible. This is a model of our Klimatopolis smart city, is the first one that will be built in the south of France, in Villefranche-sur-Mer. Then you say, why Klimatopolis? Because probably we're not the first one that are going to be building smart cities. But what we do, what we are proud of, is that we are building our cities around science. That means that education for us is the most important one. So inside of this city, you will have climate museum, you will have a school, you will have student dorms, you will have R&D research center, and most importantly, we will accelerate startups that share our vision, our DNA, and those who will be able to help us with their innovations for a better future. This was in a nutshell the presentation of, let's say, our company, who we are, what we strive for, and now I'm coming to the main purpose of my presentation. So I'm going back to the slide 1. Did they find the solution, Frank and John? Yes, they did. Vertical farming. What do you know about today? Today's conventional farming will soon, by our calculations, become obsolete. Why is that? There are several factors today, like overpopulation, urbanization. Studies show that by 2050, 80% of the population will live in urban cities. Livestock is being attacked by birds, by bad weather. So today, what we have as conventional farming techniques, they will no longer be able to fight what is coming to us. So let's say that today's, what we like to call them agriculturalists, will become tomorrow's agri-tech culturalists. That doesn't mean that we will lose the farmers or they will lose jobs. No, they will evolve in what they're doing, which is what the world is also doing. Do you imagine that you can harvest for 24 hours a day, for 7 days a week, for 365 days a year, that you are not dependent on external factors, that you are inside a place where you can be off the grid and achieve complete energy autonomy? We bring a solution, zero. That means zero energy, because we use completely renewable energy. Zero water. Our typical solutions use 90% less of water than the conventional ones, but in some cases, we can go up to 100%, because we can generate water from air humidity that is inside. And zero waste, because we use waste from fruit and vegetables to create energy. We have other also, we will use drones and robots, which will optimize us to have completely unmanned and automatized production. And also we will use special glass technology on the outside of the glass itself to maximize the sun. Can you go please forward? Yeah, please again. Okay, one more please. Yeah. I will now skip, or I mean finish with technicalities and go to figures. We made we got the info from importation of fruit and vegetables in Slovenia, and this is an example for 2021. In Slovenia in 2021, we imported over 8,000 tons of salad. 8,000 tons, yes. If we just look at two parameters, meaning that 2.6 kilos of CO2 are needed to produce 1 kilo of salad, and 25 liters of water are used for producing 1 kilo of salad and also transporting it to Slovenia. That means that if we move to vertical farming, which means that you are autonomous and independent, on a basis of producing 1,000 tons of salad, you're able to save tens of millions of CO2 per year and 20s of millions of liters of water saved per year using vertical farming. Lately, we have been in contact also with the Ministry of Slovenia, where we already presented our first project, and meaning in implementing our solution on the Slovenian territory. We do not only target Slovenian territory, but we are targeting the whole Adriatic region, just to be clear. I made an example on 1,000 square feet floor area, but when we stack up on 6 production floors, this means that we have a production area of almost 2 times the floor area, almost 2,000, more than 2,000 square meters. The total investment would be 4.5 million euros, out of which 66% would go for total equipment. If you can go forward, yeah. We would only employ, of course, local people, and we would need a company that would take care of our project. We would only, let's say, present with the know-how and the project itself, but we would need a local company to run it on our behalf. So without, let's say, any, if you can move the slide, one more please. Yeah, I will just leave you with the fact that in the next years, the water scarcity will increase for 50%, and that means that vertical farming is not only a possible solution that we have, but it is basically a necessity that that we have to, let's say, attack as from today. Thank you all for your attention, and we are here available for any further questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Menich, for your presentation. I do believe that 50% increase in water scarcity is quite a scary piece of data, one that we will have to keep in mind in the future. Now let's hear about a sunny project, a sunny smart project. I would like to invite Ram Dušić-Hren, who will present Smart Village Sun.
Thank you. So I still haven't figured out, does this work or not? No. I will try every once in a while. Is there anybody in this room that in the past week hasn't heard the word sustainability? Either you prove my point or nobody's listening. So we're all talking about it, right? There's a lot of words going around, so there's no need to explain why it's important, what it is. What needs to be pointed out is that our talk is not yielding the results that we desire. Could we go to the next slide, please? Maybe it works. If we just take the carbon footprint as an example of one indicator, probably a lot of you have already seen this graph. It's basically a graph of global carbon emissions. All the time we've been talking, the emissions are still steadily growing. We made a slight dent during the COVID period, but we did not hesitate to push it right back up the next year. On the right, these are the scenarios that would be necessary if we wanted to achieve the Paris Agreement targets. Apparently, it's going to be quite difficult. We would need maybe a slope of the scale of COVID for the next 20 years in order to achieve the desired drop. So, what's missing? What's going on? Why aren't we achieving those results? There are many reasons, of course, but one that is also a strong one is that the technologies, the innovations, and the changes are being piloted in isolation. So some areas might be getting better, but a lot of the time we're just pushing emissions from one sector to the other, and this integrated approach is missing. That's why the global situation is still the way it is. And that's also the part that we are addressing with the vision for Smart Village Sun. So, welcome to Smart Village Sun in 2026. This is a smart village. What we want to achieve with this, the vision is combining on one side a supreme way of living and being in a self-sustainable community, and on the other side, basically an innovation ecosystem where all of those innovations needed for a sustainable future can be piloted together, integrated in order to form one cohesive, self-sustainable community. That's the vision of Smart Village Sun. Now, what are basically the values of this vision? So, first of all, the village itself is and will be very highly resource self-efficient. So there's a own water spring providing fresh water, self-sufficiency in terms of food, so own-grown food and in collaboration with local farms, energy self-sufficiency in terms of providing the village's own energy, and of course heating goes into that equations as well. Unspoiled nature. So this is one of the big values we're all coming back to, right? How do we live together with nature? And the area where the village is situated has a lot of unspoiled nature. That's why the SUN, S-U-N, stands for Smart Unspoiled Nature. So as I mentioned already, the living and working conditions. The village itself is equipped with all the facilities for leisure and for business. Sharing economy, that's one of the circular models that are among the most prevalent ones. So sharing economy in terms of mobility, in terms of shared facilities, for example, restaurants, kitchens, facilities such as washing machines and so on. Leisure activities, so the area, the whole region offers many opportunities for leisure activities. On the other hand, so this was kind of the human part, this is now the more business part. So what are the values for businesses, for technology partners to get involved in the project? So, of course, first of all, we need a place to work, right? So we want to form this basically innovation community there. So, of course, co-working space. All the necessary technological infrastructure and smart system in order to ensure remote working, in order to ensure all the connections with the kind of hybrid world we're all living in. Integrated piloting environment. This is really important. So all the village will be basically an opportunity for technology partners to pilot their innovations in areas of energy, in areas of food, in areas of mobility, and so on. And of course, the business models by which services are provisioned. So for example, the village itself, the space there will be provisioned with a space as a service business model. So basically offering a much more agile and effective way of provisioning any service. and also with the tokenization of usage rights and of space. So again, to come back to this main point, we are building an environment where we can integrate all of those solutions to build a truly self-sustainable community. In terms of business that will be conducted there, innovations that will be piloted there, of course, we're going to focus on the main pillars that are dictated by the environment. That's the way to go about sustainability. So one is, of course, agriculture, experimenting and piloting also approaches such as was mentioned in the presentation before. Energy, this goes from the collection of energy, from photovoltaics, for example, all the way to smart monitoring and management systems, of course. So basically building a micro energy environment. Wood, so the area is very much rich in wood and in biomass. So this will be one of the main pillars also for constructions. So the additional objects that will be constructed will of course be made with all the sustainable approaches. Rural healthcare, mobility, and tourism. As I mentioned, the area itself is a rapidly developing area, which I'll mention in a second, offering many opportunities also for touristic purposes. All of this is, of course, supported by technologies, by innovations, and of course with the next generation investing, where money flows into innovations that actually ensure a better future. This is how the village looks today. So some of the objects are already standing, and some of the objects will be added. Some will be, some are still up for renewal. Projected value of the project at the end of 2026 is upwards of 6.5 million euros. Around half of that investment has already been realized. As I mentioned before, so part of the shares will be provisioned through tokenization, and there will be a public pre-sale going on from November this year to February next year. Now a little bit on the side of why this makes a strong investment. So first of all, a lot of you are probably aware, Slovenia is the country where Climate Kick is implementing deep demonstration project, which is basically a systemic approach to achieving net zero society. And villages like this, basically self-sustainable communities, are an ideal piloting environment for such a systemic approach. As I mentioned already, a rapid development of the area. So this is a map of Slovenian transport network, and the third development axis is being also built in the area, which will make it more accessible. The neighboring region was traditionally a coal-oriented region, and now Slovenia is on the way to exiting from coal. So the strategy for coal exit has been already confirmed, implemented, and this offers also a strong support for a project like this. As I mentioned, the area itself offers many ways in which people can enjoy their time there. This is a picture from Kope, a skiing resort. Nature and natural resources. This is again the view of the village a bit from more distance, and you can really see how much wood and natural resources there are. In terms of strategic partnerships, these are also some of the partnerships that are really strongly supportive of this vision. So Climate Kick with the Deep Demonstration Project, SDBP, where we are right now, and the Slovenian construction cluster. So to round it off, next generation investing, this is the term we like to use for money flows where it needs to flow in order to ensure a better future, and that's why here we want also partners, investors that believe in the same future. So from my side, that's it. in order to discuss any more of the opportunity, please get in touch. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hren, for your sunny presentation. Next up, we have Franz Gajšek. At the beginning, we heard from our ambassador that the inventiveness runs deep in Slovenia. However, in case of Mr. Gajšek, it also runs in the family. His late father registered over 10 patents, and it was from him that he gained the ability to find appropriate solutions to recognized problems. Mr. Franz Gajšek, Institute ROR.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to everyone who follows this event. First of all, I want to express many thanks to Slovenian and Dutch business platform, which gives us opportunity to be present here and to make this presentation. Now I will need my second eyes. The idea of finding a solution for professional mobile greenhouses assembled according to the Lego principle was formed about 6 years ago at the end of 2016, when I encountered the problem of setting up larger structures due to the limitation of the building legislation, which provides many necessary documents for a building permit with a fixed foundation. Therefore, the basis to invent as a solution of the problem was ballasted mobile foundation, to which supporting structure is attached, and a suitable roof with a sufficient load-bearing capacity to mount photovoltaic power plant on the roof. For the described reason, a foundation elements was created and constructed, which I named L jersey, because it is similar to the jersey elements used on the highways to divide traffic lanes in different directions. Thank you. In the final version, the L jersey is made of reinforced concrete, and due to the necessary fastening of the supporting structure and ventilation, air conditioning, a U profile with a width of 220 millimeters is used for its upper surface. It is 850 millimeters high, 460 millimeters wide, and weighs approximately 1,200 kilos, which is sufficient for a mobile ballast foundation that properly anchors the structure of the building, both in cases of strong wind and heavy snowfalls. Thank you. On the basis of the designed L jersey, which has specific length of 2,430 millimeters, the length was specified for construction mobile houses on basis of 20 feet containers, but the measures stayed the same also to construct carports and greenhouses. So, for purposes to construct carports and greenhouses, I made a construction of auto, means osnovni tipski objekt, or in English, base type object, which you can see on this slide. The area of such an auto facility is 143 meters and can be assembled according to the Lego principle, which means that such professional greenhouses can be multiple times the size of the basic area, depending on the needs of the user. The side supports on the roof were submitted to the calculation of the static assessment, where together with the company CBD DOO decided that the most cost-effective and environmentally acceptable solution is that the columns and connection for ventilation are made from steel, and the roof structure is wooden, made of wood panels. Since the production of organic food in such a greenhouse requires sunlight, and a photovoltaic power plant is planned for the roof to obtain the necessary electricity, two solutions are available. Either transparent photovoltaic panels, whether the cells are in every other row, or normal photovoltaic panels, but every other row in between are panels with tempered glass due to the transmission of sunlight. To avoid drought, hail, diseases, theft, climate influence, etc., the sides are closed with a double-layer thermopane glazing, and the roof has photovoltaic power plants panels. Next one. And these are these ballasts, and how is the fixing solved with wooden parts. We have already experimentally produced templates for pouring concrete L-jersey foundations, and they were produced by the largest concrete plant in Ljubljana, namely Beton Trade DO, where you can also see it alive. Unfortunately, time is limited. I can talk about it for hours, but for the big picture, I believe this is what I prepared for everybody who wants to know about it something more. Please contact me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gajšek. We just saw mobile greenhouses, and I think it's time that we become a bit mobile too. I would like to call a quick coffee break. We're going to continue at 14:50 sharp. Please take a few refreshments, network, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you. Starting to quiet down. Every single event, when the networking coffee break starts, I mean, I love to see it that people are talking to each other. I love that business is starting to happen, you know, but I have a program to continue with. So thank you very much for taking your seats. So now we will begin with the presentation set number 3. We have already went through energy and we have went through construction. Now in order to build a more, how would you say, advanced society, of course we need to have food production, and more specifically sustainable food production. So for the first presenter, we actually have a video from a Slovenian company called Pan Organics.
Hi Mario. So can you give us a small introduction about Pan Organics?
Well, Pan Organics is a company established around 10 years ago. We started with cultivation of local Slovenian garlic, which we still do. Later on we transitioned into the organic blueberries. We are still the biggest producer of organic blueberries as well as garlic, and in around 2015 we started with the production of leafy greens, lettuce and herbs into controlled environment greenhouses with high-tech technology, very sustainable technology, and so on.
Can you give us a brief company overview of Pan Organics?
For sure. Pan Organics currently operates in Slovenia, where we have 4.5 hectares of greenhouses, high-tech greenhouses. We have production established also in Austria and in Romania. At the moment we supply 5 markets. We produce in 3 markets, but we supply also to Hungary and as well in Croatia when we have the volumes. But the philosophy of the company is local everywhere, so we are focused on the domestic markets in these locations. Maybe important thing to add that in each of the countries that I've mentioned that we have established the production, we are the only producer 365s, and that gives us a high competitive advantage in front of everybody because we can supply throughout the whole year.
What are the market opportunities?
Well, market opportunities, as our investors know, are quite high because for the last 10 years everybody knows about importance of the locally grown food. It's not just in Europe, it's also in the United States, it's also here in Saudi Arabia, a very important topic. So I believe that the future for the next 10 years of all European countries will be raising the self-sustainability, which means producing the food, the lettuce, the vegetables and fruits throughout the whole year into local markets.
What is the difference between Pan Organics and other companies?
Well, I would say that our philosophy is the main difference because our philosophy is to being local everywhere, and we put a lot of attention to the sustainability factor. We invest much more than others, let's say the competition, the conventional growers. We invest a lot more into the technology. That's why we don't produce wastewaters. We use 95 to 97% less water, and throughout 90% of the time we don't use any of pesticides in our production. I would say this factor is important, and of course that we build optimum size greenhouses and local everywhere philosophy is the main driver. And then of course comes that we are able to supply the market throughout the whole year. This I think is one of the most important advantage in front of everybody, because everywhere we go we easily get agreements throughout the whole year, and of course they don't kick us out when somebody new comes.
What are the expansion plans in the following years?
Well, this maybe is the reason that we are making this video and attending at the conference in front of the investors. Pan Organics started the Series A fundraise. We are raising now 15 million euro. It's a growth capital. We would like to expand, optimize actually our capacities in the countries we are already present. That means we would like to extend Slovenian greenhouse. We already have the subsidies, so it has a financial effect. We would like to extend for 1 hectare in Romania as well. We also have 2 million of subsidies in Romania, and we would like to build a new greenhouse in Germany. Actually, we are neighboring a company Tesla in the town Fürstenwalder Spree. This is around 30 minutes outside of Berlin, and I would say the money would be used as growth capital for the extensions of Panorganics.
Who are your partners in the business?
Well, our partners are actually the biggest market chains in the world. Worldwide known market chains such as Lidl, we supply Kaufland, we supply Spar, we supply Hofer, all the domestic market chains as Mercator, as Consum, we supply to Auchan. Basically all the major players in Europe, but some of these are also worldwide players.
You have a unique philosophy. It's called local everywhere. Can you tell us something? What does it mean and what it's about?
Yes, this spontaneously happened. It's about establishing the production of local production in each country that we are present. So our investors, let's say, come now today from the Holland, and they know that in Holland for 20-30 years they have enormous greenhouses with enormous output capacity, but I believe this business model is a little bit outdated, and I think we prove every time in real life that this is so. So all the countries and all the market chains are looking for the local food because the clients would like to have it, would like to see it, the consumers, and with this network or ecosystem of local everywhere greenhouses is, to my opinion, the right answer. It's not the most economical from the economy of scale, because it's easier to, of course, build one bigger greenhouse instead of 10 smaller ones, but I think in the longer run that makes a big competitive advantage of the Panorganics, which is the international company with very soon global network of.
Before we heard the piece of data that says that we're going to have a 50% increase in water scarcity, and Panorganics has already mentioned that they have a 97% efficiency in water usage. So we already have one solution on the table, which is going to cover a very important need in the future. But what other need can be fulfilled? They already mentioned local, and I would like to bring another example of an expert of being local. I would like to invite Panvita with Tony Balajic.
Thank you very much. So my name is Tony, and I'm very happy to be here and to present you the Panvita and our project. We are neither a startup or a new company. Actually, our company had 100-year celebration last year. So we were established basically after the First World War. But that doesn't mean that we should stop with our development. We are a well-established company in Slovenia, in the region. We have, so in the Panvita group, we have 10 companies, 750 employees, and around 130 million euro turnover. We are basically one of the biggest food producers in Slovenia. We are vertically integrated, meaning that we are cultivating the land, so about 3,500 hectares. We do cooperate with more than 2,000 farmers in the region. So if you would look at the map of Slovenia, and eastern part of Slovenia is basically, you know, all of the, or most of the farmers there are our partners. And so more or less, you know, what we produce on the land, this goes to the kind of a traditional food production, meat production, and so on. But we are very much aware that we have to develop, we have to transform ourselves. So that's why we are also developing kind of a second pillar and a third pillar. The second pillar is the energy, and the third pillar is the vegetable production with the, let's say, high-tech approach. In the second pillar, talking about sustainability is super, but we already live sustainability, so we are bigger producer than user of electricity. We have a bioplant, we also use solar energy, and we produce 26 million kilowatts of electricity, whereas we use 16 of it, so basically we are already self-sufficient. And the third pillar, of course, are the vegetables. So we are very much aware of the fact that the consumer trend is changing, so people are basically asking for more and more plant-based food. On one hand, on the other hand, the self-sufficiency of the countries is also becoming more and more important. And if you look at the vegetable and fruit and vegetable production in Slovenia, Slovenia only has about 40% of the self-sufficiency. So meaning that the growth potential for local production of it is very high. Will it work? Probably yes. So we are not new in fruit and vegetable production. We have had kind of a traditional approach to it in growing asparagus and so on, and about 7 hectares. But last year we actually invested in the biggest greenhouse for strawberries in Slovenia. It's on 2 hectares and it's already working, so I think we will have third harvest this year. So we are already investing in that, and the results are actually good. So we are becoming basically the leaders in strawberries in Slovenia. But of course, where also we do see a big potential is the salad. The salad, of course, is something with it's a kind of a vegetable which is used on a daily basis throughout the year. And that's why we started with the greenhouse project in Nemščak, where we already have built permit, we do have the subsidies. So basically, until the second quarter of 2025, the first phase will start off with production of lettuce. Basically, we have here, like I said, around 6 hectares. And the first phase is already confirmed, so we are at the end phase of choosing the right technology. So within a month or 2, basically, we will choose the right technology. And then, of course, as a next step, in the step 2 and 3, we will enlarge that. So what that means from the need perspective, Slovenia basically needs around, in salad, probably around 20 hectares of greenhouses for salad, meaning there is still kind of a blue ocean here to grow the local production of the salads. So the phase 1 is on 2 hectares. It's a modern automated mobile cooling system, yearly production of around 1,200 tons, different type of lettuce, Batavia, oak leaf, butterhead, and of course high reusage and general minimal water consumption, which is very much important, like we heard before from our competitor. It's very important to be very much sustainable also in that respect. And of course minimize the plant protection, so as natural as possible. So in terms of what we are basically seeking, we are, for that third pillar, vegetable production, we are seeking for a partner. Let's say the average investment size per hectare, it's about 5 million euro, 4 to 5 million euro, it depends on the technology. The expected ROI is around 15%, and we are basically looking for the investor who would invest in the SPV, which is already established and functioning. So this is from my side. Thank you very much.
Quick and efficient, just how we like it. Now, of course, thank you, Mr. Balajic, for showing us also the power of a 100-year-old local producer. Now let's dive into local a little bit more, because local has been synonymous with being self-sufficient since time immemorial. Our third largest municipality, Kranj, is developing in this direction, but in particular. I invite Boris Koprivnikar from Singular Consulting.
Thank you for inviting. What I would like to talk about is, we heard a lot about local food production, modern food production, and the problem that we bumped in when we built it, smart city in Kranj, and similar problems are growing in any other cities, is how to bring this food to the local consumer. So this is our main challenge. We developed for the municipality of Kranj the project how to do it, with the goals that we increase the share of the local food self-sufficiency, that healthy and nutrition, lower CO2 footprint, and so on. All the very important modern goals. And these goals are all addressing the concept of the European Union listed there, from farm to fork to zero waste, green and digital economy. What is very important, because if you want to get some kind of a European co-investment or investment, you have to address those strategies. So we are addressing these strategies very, very directly, and we believe very efficiently. What is very important for us is that while we researched who is willing and how to participate in this network of food supply, local food supply, we discovered that it's not the simple way to do it. It's a very complex network of different stakeholders that have to participate. And when we talk to all those stakeholders, from the municipality, institutes, ministries that are responsible for social care, education, for fruit producers, chambers, and so on, they are all willing to participate. They are all eager to participate. But they all also say, but we already have local food production and local food supply. And when we analyzed how this local food supply is working, we discovered more than 20 different systems of supplying the cheese, supplying the wine, supplying in specific regions, supplying for specific consumers. And all of these supplies, they have at least one of the limitations. Only for specific type of food, only for specific type of users, like for public institutions, for examples, or on a only specific region. For example, only in the I don't know, Gorician region, but not wider. So we tried to sketch the whole system, how it should be, that this local supply would be, like was said before, everywhere local. So what we need is that we join all kind of suppliers, the farmers, the cooperatives, and also big trading companies, because we are trying to target the goal that what you need to cook something is what you can get. And if you cannot get something locally, you have to have also other suppliers that will fulfill what you need for your, let's say, recipe. The second starting point was that we want to be supplier for everyone. That means from institutions, companies, meal providers, restaurants, to the final households that maybe need something on Sunday to cook for the friends that will come over. And we also wanted to address the challenge of the surplus foods, so that we cook only what we need and we waste nothing that's not need to be wasted. So as less as possible. These are all strategies. And on the end, we found that we have all the key ingredients to cook these systems. We have food catalog. We know which farmers are producing what. We do have the recipes set, the menu sets that we can use. We have quality standards, but they are all coming from different institutions. if we want to join them in the system, the producer, the farmer can say, I have this food at these prices, at this quality, and these packages that I can offer to someone that can order it and buy it from this farmer. What we need is this in between. We need someone who will manage the whole system. We need someone who will have the logistical support, the storages, someone who will develop the IT support, someone who will monitor the quality standards, and this is something that we don't have. We only have farmers that can sell something to the end users. We have group of farmers that are selling something through very limited delivery network, but we don't have a universal system except the big trading companies. And when we are talking about the big trading companies, we have doubts about the local production. We have the doubts, is this really local? Is this really prepared only for me? As we said before, it is existing, but how to deliver it to the end user? So this is the system that we designed, and in this system what we need is the main operator, someone experienced in the food supply, someone experienced with dealing with the farmers, and someone experienced dealing with the consumers of different types. And this system, we believe, can be built and also integrated in the smart city platform, because I'm coming from the area of smart city development, and in that case you can order or check where the public transportation goes, what's in the school today, what I will eat tomorrow, what will be the weather, what is the pollution, is there a, I don't know, danger of a flood. This is the smart city where you have on one point access to different services and information. And this is also why we, for municipality of Kranj, start to develop it. It's developed to be part of the smart city solution. It is possible that we develop this system through international big project, financed, I don't know, from European funds, through several small projects. We can expect some public budget co-financing, or different combinations also with the business investors. But in any case, even if we go with the public project, we need the carrier of the whole project. We need the main ingredient, the company who will connect all the dots that I've been describing. And then later system operation can be financed by users or by partners in the supply model. And we also can expect, because of the secondary benefits, that also some public fundings can be permanent in supporting that kind of a system. And then we can scale up from the local community to the region, to the country, and to the whole EU or more countries, because local is local nevertheless where the border is. So if you are in Gorizia, for example, the local is from Italian and from the Slovenian side, and this is why the one system have to run under the universal rules. So this, we believe, is an investment opportunity. I'm not the company who is asking for investment. I'm just developer of the project, and we are seeking for the key ingredient to cook this project to be ready to eat. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Koprivnikar. If I dare to put it in a slightly different way, you're looking for the pot, for all of the ingredients to be put in and then cooked and shipped in the form of a smart city. So now we have energy, construction, food production. We also have an emphasis on local and sustainable. Usually, and sadly, these concepts are not centralized in one location. Therefore, we need the fourth component, which is effective mobility. Therefore, I would like to close set 3 and open the last set, which is the field of sustainable mobility. First, usually for longer distances, such as between continents, we look towards the sea. Pretty much the moment we were able to make wood and other materials stable enough and floating for long enough, we used water as a transportation possibility. Therefore, now we are slowly perfecting this possibility. How? Well, for that explanation, I would like to welcome Eric Schiffer from Mides.
So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Eric Schiffrer. I come from Mides Design Company. I am architect, industrial designer, and I'm author of this project. Of course, I'm also a sailor. So now we're gonna talk about sails. These are not normal conventional sails. These are so-called robotic sails or universal sails or automatic sails for all kind of vessels driven by wind. So endless green energy we're talking about. So it's meant for a pleasure yacht, small yachts, mega yachts, super yachts, and also for commercial gigaships, which is more focused now today, and also Navy ships. And I also like to happily announce that this year we finally gained a world patent for this design, which we are very, very happy. So, thank you very much. So what we are solving here, first of all, we are searching for new green propulsion system for all the vessels. Second, we are saving lots of low-grade fuel and money. Be aware that naval industry is the most polluted industry in the world, not cows and airplanes, but naval vessels. So they burn low-grade fuel. This is called bunker fuel. This is the waste of the petrochemical industry, and it's very, very expensive. So 3, we are significantly reduce the carbon footprint on a global scale. Number 4, moving towards the end of fossil fuel, which is also agenda of UN in the next 10 years. And yeah, we are also moving with the Green Deal. So this is our solution. It's called aerosail or A-frame mast or A-type rig. Here on render, it's existing 300-meter tanker with 5 aerosail units attached on the deck. So you can have 4, 3, or maybe 7 of those. It depends on the length of the ship. What is most important, these are completely autonomous and very easy to manage sailing solution for a better exploitation of winds. And number 2, easy deck attachment system is without deck or hull equipment to almost all the existing and new ships. So there's a very easy deck attachment system for any kind of deck. And the most important stuff is that this system does not interfere in the cargo area. Yeah, this is very important. So, this is one of the most important slides. Aerosail system can reduce the fuel use approximately up to 60% on the windy routes. So we already have a wind corridor sets around our oceans. And let me put this 60% more in numbers. If 300-meter tankers sail from Bristol to Shanghai, it spends $4 million just for voyage. And back, it's $8 million just for sailing, for voyage. This is a huge number. And just cut this 60% now. And this is an important fact. 1 gigaship like this can create as much pollution as 50 million cars. There's a fact. And today, there are 100,000 ships sailing on our oceans every day. And we can place our system on 50% of them. That's 53,000 ships could be equipped with such a system. And International Windship Association also declare this year that we will have to place systems and similar systems on 25,000 tankers in next 10 years. So it's a huge opportunity. Yeah, why this system is very interested? The system must be folding down. Why? In case of a stormy winds, normally. Also in case there is no wind, in case of the air drag. Also when going under the bridge. And the last one important, when we need to service it. So yeah, it looks like wings of the bird. Okay, at Mides Design, we believe that the future of sailing and the future of ships will be autonomous. Like we have autonomous cars, autonomous helicopters, also the ship will be drone or fully autonomous. And we also believe that the ship like this will be zero emission, powered by wind and secondary source. It could be hydrogen. Okay, so this is this kind of ship. There's a hatch on the top. the hatch is open and the sails rise up from the deck. And vice versa, it's also retractable. So everything is touch on the button, or also there's a navigation system on the deck, and it can control this very super automatically. And also, aerosail retractable system is also perfect for Navy battleships, for fighting against submarines when they have to turn off all the motors. So these fighting ships have to be completely silent when they are attacking submarines. So this is also interesting for Navy. Okay, also the pleasure sector will be completely automatic. Here is a render of a 60-meter high 2 aerosails. Again, the size of a system which navigates these sails are in the size of a mobile phone. So we are not just producing nice renders. Here on stage behind me, we create 3 prototypes of these sails already. Here is 1:20 scale model, radio-controlled model made out of carbon. So it's very easy to sail. Inside is the motor. I sail this via joystick, or it could be completely robotic. So it turns one way and the other way, completely automatic if you like. So these are not just renders, we create 3 prototypes already, and it's really working, and it's really very simple. It works like a kite if you like. Okay, in which phase were we? We already make second prototype. This is 9-meter high, it's 1-to-1. Made out of carbon and made in Czech. So this was also tested in Slovenian Sea. So we have 3 prototypes already. And computer fluid dynamics were done, and also the stress analysis techniques were done to calculate this structure. And it was done by international engineers. So we are now in a ready to go stage. Okay, my dear ladies and gentlemen, valuation of such a project. Estimate value of aerosail project is more than 523 million euros done by iConsult. So it's a huge potential and a huge opportunity, because there's a lot of ships sailing in our world. So aerosail is the winning solution to tackle today's biggest polluters, for winning the shipbuilders of the future. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are looking for a potential partner for invest in the commercial sector of vessel as well in the pleasure sector. And yes, we are also ready to sell the patent. So, on the end, I would also like to later, I have full movies about these prototypes, how they are actually sail in the sea and real water. So, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your attention.
Well, I don't think I need to follow up on that. Thank you very much for the presentation. And we have just discussed the sea. Now let's discuss the ground. Because of course, ground mobility, well, we started with something of our own. Now let's see what kind of capabilities we have today. So in order for that, I would actually like to invite Maurizio Sardi, the CEO and co-founder of EVTech for You.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the attendance, for your time to listen to what we are going to be presenting. So what we are is an EV charging infrastructure provider. So we are data-driven analytics to be able to execute an investment on EV charging infrastructure in Slovenia, Croatia, and Italy. We are an integrator of different technologies to make sure that what we have today as electric vehicles, so on a slow demand, we want to grow this as fast as possible. We want to put the chargers that have a good utilization. We want to have a charger that is going to be offering to all of us a good experience when we go charging, not to have problems when we go to charge. So 3 key points we are going to be covering in the presentation. So number 1, we make investment decisions on the money that we are raising at the moment based on 18,000 charging points already installed in Europe. We know where is the utilization. We know what is the demand. We know what are the best practices. based on 18,000 charging points. Additional to that, we already have very close relationship with large companies around the region, such as Nissan, Volvo. We have already been providing, for instance, solutions for more than 2 years and a half to companies like Petrol. So we have the know-how, and this is also helping us to implement the project as fast as possible. Later you are going to see we are raising 18 million to implement EV charging infrastructure, so the key question is how long are you going to be waiting to implement this capital? It can take us up to 2 years because we have these relationships and already many locations in the pipeline. Now, the EV charging infrastructure and the e-mobility, it may seem that it's just picking up in Slovenia, Croatia, and Northeast Italy, which are our markets. But if we compare with other countries where there is high level of investment in this area, we will look into Portugal or Spain, that we also have the same penetration level of electromobility, which is just below 1%. Now, what is happening in our market is also due to the regulatory requirements to decarbonize, many companies are already electrifying their fleet. The key problem that many of you may have is, okay, how do I do this? So what we are going to be doing is we provide the EV charging infrastructure even in your companies, and then it's going to simplify your user experience. You will continue doing the operational leasing of your electric vehicles, but then we will be able to have a turnkey EV charging solution for the companies. Now, in terms of the utilization, you say, okay, how I am going to be able to get my money back in this? Fantastic decarbonization, but I want to understand my return on investment. Usually, a company charger is utilized 12.5% during the day, while a public charger is utilized 7% during the day. Again, data from 18,000 charging points. So the logical way to do this is to combine the utilization, 12.5 plus 7. How do we do this? We go to your company, as an example, and we say, we are going to help you to decarbonize your mobility. We are consultants. We have done projects for companies like IKEA. We tell you how to do it. What we are doing when we do this is we are also increasing the utilization of these chargers. And when you don't need the charger, which is basically you only need it 12.5% of the time, we are going to be allowing public charging in those locations. This is going to be building a public charging infrastructure, increasing utilization, and we give you 5% revenue sharing. So everyone wins. Users, low cost of charging, as well is a perfect solution for companies. Additional to this, we will be capitalizing of internal demand, logistics that are going to supply these companies, as well as the visitors. So low cost of obtaining users. If we go now into why we chose the private solutions, company solutions, so basically in this table, this is our data, the heart of our business model. If we analyze 4,000 DC charging points in Europe, we will say that in the fleets, there is a utilization of 350 kilowatts a day, and only 150 kilowatts per day in public charging. While in the public charging, in a slow charging, there is only a utilization of 7% in public charging, and destination charging like hotels, in high season, it can raise 18.8% utilization. We even have some of the cases of companies that we are already working with, and you can see the data is what is driving this specific decision-making model, investment model. In the pipeline, we already have more than 1,200 locations. These are raw locations. Let's say we will need to analyze if they are investable or not. But even today, only in Slovenia, we have the opportunity to put more than 200 ultra-fast charging points in premium locations. Actually, we are already executing some of the projects with some of the investors. And, but we see the opportunity in many different areas. Now, where are we going to be allocating this 18 million is based on 50 data points that we analyze to be able to make the decision. So this is not just a finger on the sky as many EV charging infrastructure providers are doing. Where are we today? What is our experience? So we have already implemented more than 200 EV charging projects across the region. We are professional integrators of the best technologies in the market. I don't go in detail in all of them, but this is basically what all the biggest investors in EV charging infrastructure across Europe are using. And we have these are some of our clients, like Strabag, Nissan, IKEA, Petrol, etc., etc. Our team, I am actually not an electrician, I am an investments lawyer, so I am more into the side of the investors. But in my team, I also have a person that is specialized in electricity with more than 20 years. He is already working at Petrol, but we managed to convince him that the way forward is to go with the technology and the business model that we have implemented. Also, we have Tanya, that is our business strategy. She has already been doing a business modeling for Atlantic Grupa, which is one of the largest companies in the region. And also we have Urshka, that used to work for Moon Chargers or Porsche Slovenia, and now she is also part of our team. Besides this, also we have companies in the segment of the technical solutions, so how to integrate the products, how to integrate all the technologies to be able to deliver a better user experience to those clients. At the end of the day, what we want is these people to continue charging in our network. The competition, there are like millions of different companies doing this or trying to do this. The key differentiator is just everyone is trying to do something about it. There are no companies specialized in this. Most of the companies in the market are just focused on spending.
Thank you very much. I do need my presentation, so give me a few seconds. There it is. Okay, so my name is Thomas van Veen. I work for the company Lava Propulsion Technologies. I work there as a senior mechanical engineer. Our company is specialized in in-wheel motor technology for electrical vehicles. So first of all, we are located in Ljubljana, here in Slovenia. We have an R&D center and we have a small production line. Additionally, we have a joint venture in China. So our story, we were started in 2006 with the development of the first in-wheel motor. Afterwards, we continued to develop a complete propulsion system because our customers liked our in-wheel motors, but in order to test them, they needed a full system. We are now with over 100 employees. The average age is below 40. I'm one of the older guys in the company. Our focus, we have around 30 active customers. Most of them are OEMs. This means vehicle producers, but also suppliers and startup companies. Let me first explain to you what is our product. So our product is an in-wheel motor, and the name says it all. It's a motor inside of the wheel. So why do we do this? First of all, we like to have direct drive. Direct drive actually means that the motor is directly connected to the wheel. As you can see on the picture, the motor is made from a stator and a rotor, and it's positioned in between the wheel and the brake disc. The direct drive results in really fast response, because normally with a normal vehicle you have a transmission box, you have drive shaft and other components which lower the efficiency of the in-wheel motor. With us, it's direct drive, high efficient, and additionally, it's very good for packaging, because the space inside of the wheel is normally not being used. But placing the motor there, you actually take the component out of the vehicle and allow it for space for other utilities. So here I show an example on the left side of an electrical vehicle that you see now on the road. A normal electrical vehicle is using an e-axle. This is basically an axle with two wheels and a motor in the center. Now this motor is taking space from your luggage compartment. If you look on the left down corner, you can see that in the front and in the rear we get more space for luggage, because it can actually be in between the wheels. It doesn't have to be above the motor. Additionally, the roof can be changed. We create more space inside. The roof can be lower, which creates more aerodynamic. Last of all, you can also leave the vehicle as it is, but use the free space to make the battery larger. This will create around 30% longer range of the vehicle. As mentioned before, we are not only looking at the propulsion system, but also at the packaging of the vehicle. So in the middle, you see the future of vehicles. We are looking more into a skateboard design. This is a modular approach, where basically you have a skateboard, which is a rolling chassis. Inside are the wheels, the motor, battery, and all other electronic components. As you can see, wheel motors are the perfect propulsion for this, because you can see on the middle picture that in between the wheels there's a free space. So you get maximum amount of space for whatever you put on top of the vehicle. This can be for passengers, but also for cargo. On the right side, you see independent wheel control, another benefit. Independent wheel control is possible with in-wheel motors because the motors are not mechanically connected to each other. This allows for torque factoring, the ability to vary torque on each wheel. So why do we need that? It's first of all to improve grip on the road. So basically you have anti-slip control for every wheel separate, not for the whole vehicle. Second, you have better handlings and better vehicle dynamics. Third of all, we can improve the steering of the vehicle, as you can see on this picture. So you look here at the vehicle going into the corner on the right. We can use the motors to help the steering by actually putting more torque on the left wheels. By doing this, you actually start steering the vehicle a little bit already with the motors. As you can see with this picture, we have tank steer. It's a really extreme version of torque factoring. Here you have a general chassis with 4 of our in-wheel motors. Now what we do, we're actually going to rotate the left and right wheels in opposite directions. What happens is that you start to rotate the vehicle on its own axle. And this was tested with our demo vehicle in Sweden last year. And our website. So, it's really important that we not just sell in-wheel motors, but the complete propulsion system. Therefore, we need high voltage inverters, which is actually the component that controls the power to the motors. Second of all, we need a multi-motor control unit. This is an ECU that we developed ourselves and has our own dedicated software. Additionally, we could also develop dedicated electronic software or electronics for our partners. Beside the propulsion system, we also start working on vehicle design. This is actually the project where I'm working on. So in this case, we were asked to develop the whole vehicle, not just the propulsion system. This vehicle is working completely autonomous and it's more like a people mover. So the chassis is again a skateboard design with a separate cabin. This vehicle has already been tested and the first delivery is expected by the end of 2024. When being in use, it will transport 650,000 passengers per vehicle per year. So let's talk about the Netherlands. We already have 2 customers in the Netherlands, but hopefully this will become more. First of all, the Land Rovers. This company is using all their Land Rover Defenders, which they rebuilt into new vehicles. They were doing that with petrol engines, but now they have their own electrical version. They're using the complete Elaphe propulsion system with their own battery pack. Together, they produce 600 horsepower and 6,000 Newton meter of torque. And they're already starting production next year. Additionally, we have Lightyear. I don't know if somebody heard about this company. It's a Dutch startup company that was developing a solar-powered electronic vehicle. Especially for them, we developed a new type of in-wheel motor. Unfortunately, at the beginning of this year, they got into financial problems and they had to stop the production. But I put it here because we worked really closely for 2-3 years with Dutch engineers and we had a great experience out of this. So hopefully we find more partners in the Netherlands. So what's the future of Elaphe? So we already have a customer base and we have the product, but what we want to do, we want to look for a strategic partner to further develop our system. Important part of that is we want to improve the vehicle handling, which I already showed you by torque factoring. This requires a lot of software development. In the end, when the system will be completely finished, we can become a supplier for a legacy vehicle producer. Here I show you a small selection of customers we're working with, because most of them are confidential. On top, you see vehicles that are already driving around with our motors. Below, you see a selection of projects that are still ongoing, which shows you the versatility of in-wheel motors. So this was my presentation. Thank you very much. And if you have a question, please come to me later.
I think we have confirmed that we have innovation both on land and sea. And with that, we complete also the fourth set of presentations. Of course, there is one final aspect that no project, no matter how small, even if it's a child's birthday party, to the largest international corporation investments can surpass, and that is the financing itself. Therefore, the last presentation we have for you is on the topic of inclusive financing of the green transition. I would like to invite Denis Petrocic from Block Square We Live.
Thank you. Hello everyone, my name is Denis and I'm the CEO of a company called Block Square. As we are waiting for the slides to come up on screen, thank you for the invitation to SDBP for this presentation. And to start with, are the slides going up? Or okay, so Block Square is a company we started back in 2018. 3 co-founders, Victor, the CTO, and Peter, who's our Chief Compliance Officer, and myself. It's a project we started from a blockchain research lab that we started up in 2016, actually. And what we learned in that blockchain lab is that we can transfer the value of real estate assets onto something called tokens in a legally compliant manner. So we wanted to understand if this can be turned into a business, into an international business. And today the company has just under 30 employees. We have marketplaces that we've launched for 10 different clients, and we have tokenized, I think, over 80 properties for property owners in the value of around $75 million in 18 different countries. So let's go back to the real problem on the market. So analyzing real estate as an investment class, most capital is invested in just 60 cities worldwide. That's more than $700 billion worth of investments that goes in 60 cities. That's just to give you a perspective, just one city in Germany is part of those 60 cities. That means that thousands of markets are totally underfinanced. And what we've learned is that these markets represent opportunity to connect investors directly to real estate assets. Now, real estate as such, as we all know, is really hard to access as an asset class. It's really time consuming. It requires a lot of capital upfront, and it's a totally illiquid class. And with tokenization, we see that this can change. And we see this change happening in the last 5 years when we were building the technology and now commercializing it. Now, what we see is a future where holding investments in real estate as an asset class is just as easy as having a bank account. Being exposed to real estate will be accessible to everybody on the planet, and tokenization is the route to go to. Already today, you see CEOs of big financial institutions talking about tokenization as something that is very normal. It didn't seem so 5-6 years ago when we started our journey. But today, everybody is seeing the same vision that we are, and tokenization is definitely enhancing real estate business worldwide. Now, if you look at data that organizations like the Boston Consulting Group have projected, the market is estimated to reach 68 trillion by 2030. That's just in a couple of years from now. And providing infrastructure is our play on this market. Now, this infrastructure, we call it the tokenization engine for a new real estate market. Currently, we're offering a couple of products. Besides our tokenization protocol, a marketplace platform which offers a UI on top of it, and a liquidity engine that is currently being built. We call it Ocean Point. Now, this engine has a certain complexity and is modular, so we can add new functionalities as we grow and as we see fit based on the market demand. So as I said, when waiting for the slides, we have already had the pleasure of working with asset owners of more than 80 properties worldwide, and we've tokenized 74 million worth of real estate assets in 18 different jurisdictions. Now, what we've achieved recently is, I believe, the real game changer. So the legal model that we devised a couple of years ago is still the backbone of how we transfer value onto tokens from a real estate asset. But what we've achieved this year is the first tokenized asset was registered in the land registry. And that was done here in Slovenia, which means that we put Slovenia on the map in terms of real-world asset tokenization. And we've done this with zero collaboration with the governments. This means that we can use the same model and apply it in other jurisdictions. In fact, we're working with LBBW, one of the largest banks in Germany, to achieve this in Germany. We're working with private partners in Austria, and just today I spoke with a partner in Australia who is going to perform the same with us there. So this is our current team. We're constantly hiring, both on the engineering side as well as on the business development. And last but not least, I wanted to just say a partnership that we've been working here with SDBP on the project of the Smart Village Sun, which is going to use our infrastructure to create their token offering on the development of this amazing project. And we're really glad and to be able to help them achieve this financial goal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Blocksware. Thank you, Denis. Dear participants, I guess we could say that the entree has been served. Now it's time for the main dish. You have all of the 4 ingredients, 5 if we include financing. We have energy, construction, food, and mobility. And now it's actually up to you to start cooking amongst each other, and I'm talking about business. Of course, you could see the epitome of what SDBP does right here, right now, in the last 4 hours. So if you have a project, if you have something that you would like to connect in this sense, you can also approach us directly, and we'll try to make it happen. Now, of course, I would also like to thank all of our key speakers for their time and their insights. I would like to thank the Slovene Business Club for hosting us at their wonderful headquarters. I would like to thank Spirit, who is co-founding our projects. And of course, special thanks goes to Ursil, the Slovene Intellectual Property Office, and our partners, the Slovenski Gradbeni Grozd, Slovenski Podjetniški Sklad, the Pan-Slovenian Stakeholders Association, and the Slovenian Global Business Network. Needless to say, thank you to all of you who have come here in person and to everybody who is joining us online. Keep in mind that, as we promised, we're going to also do our best to connect everybody that has joined online with the individuals here in the room today. Now, of course, thank you as well, and I would like to invite you to restart what you did 2 hours ago at the coffee break. Go crazy, go wild, you have some refreshments over there, and thank you and have a wonderful day.